Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Walaikum assalam.
Okay, so previously we were discussing about the data types, and we discussed 3 of the data types. So today we'll be discussing the other 7 data types. So let us start with the lists first. All right. So lists are basically used to store multiple items in a single variable. Okay, and they are ordered in a way, in a proper way. Like it can be different, like the same thing, like fruits. All right, or it can be numbers in the particular order, and they are changeable. You can change the lists anytime you wish to, and they also allow duplicate value. Okay, so they can, as I mentioned, then they can have words, either fruits or numbers. So it is a combination of both. And then the way you write the lists is in a square bracket. So these are the 3 particular operations, we'll be discussing, and we'll be looking in the code window, that how to access elements in a list, how to slice a list, and then modification. All right, so next is tuple. Now, what is tuple? It is basically an ordered immutable collection of elements, and it is again used to store multiple items. And these are the few characteristics. So number 1 is ordered. Basically, tuples maintain the order of elements, which means that the position of each other is, fixed. So they have fixed positions in tuples. Then they're immutable. That once a tuple is created, its elements cannot be changed, added, or removed. All right. So it defines the immutability. And then there is heterogeneous. These are basically the tuples can contain elements of different data types. All right. Okay. So next, the way of defining a tuple is using parentheses, and then commas are used to separate the elements. And then we also discussed concatenation in the previous lecture. So again, here in tuples, you can concatenate or slice the tuples to create new ones. All right, so moving to the dictionaries, let's see what dictionaries are. So dictionaries are basically unordered, mutable collection of key value pairs. Okay, so they are mutable first of all, and then there is a slight difference, that is, it has a pair of key and value. We'll see again in the code window how the key and the value pair works. Then they store or organize data for its fast access. Like you can, easily or fastly access the data in dictionary. It organizes the data in a way that allows for fast and efficient access to the values based on their corresponding keys, so that you can interpret the keys, the values through keys. And then the keys serve as a unique identifier, because this is a key value pair which is not in any other data type. So it is particularly used in dictionaries, which is a unique identifier. And then we have the representation of dictionaries. It's in curly brackets. So curly brackets are used to identify the dictionary. And these are the few key features. Number 1 is the unordered feature. So unlike lists or tuples, dictionaries do not maintain the order of elements. Okay, these elements are mutable. All right. So mutable. What is now mutable in dictionaries? Dictionaries cannot be modified after creation. Okay, you can add, modify, or delete key value pairs. Fine. Then we talk about the fast lookup. Now, fast lookup is basically the advantage of using dictionaries, because, as we mentioned in the previous slide, that it provides a fast and efficient access time for the value key value based pair. Then we have keys. Keys in dictionary must be unique and immutable. This means you can use strings, numbers, or tuples, for the keys particularly. And then there are values, which are basically they have of data types, different data types. Okay, then we have sets, the last data type we are going to discuss. Okay, so it represents an unordered collection of unique elements. All right, then these are the few operations you can apply on sets. First, you define the sets, and then you can apply these following operations, which we are going to discuss right now. So the first one is joining sets. So sets in Python are more or less work in the same way as the sets in mathematics. So they perform operations like union, intersection, just like the way we do in mathematics. Similarly, the union and intersection operations again are the similar ones. Union operation basically, adds the items that are present in two different sets. And then intersection is basically it prints only the items that are common in both the sets. So they return a new set, and the this is how union or intersection of a set is taken in math. Then we have the symmetric difference. So symmetric difference basically prints the items that are not similar to both the sets. All right. So this is how this function works. Then there is a disjoint set. So we do discuss disjoint sets in mathematics, but here the command is disjoint. So this basically checks if items of a given set are present in another set. Okay. Then we have is superset. Again, superset is the terminology used in mathematics, but here in Python, we represent it is represented as is superset. And this basically checks if all the items of a particular set are present in the set or not. Then remove again is used to remove or what do you say remove an item from the dictionary. Then pop is also a similar kind of a thing. It basically removes the last item of the set. Then delete is it is a keyword basically which deletes the set completely. All right. Delete is not a method. It is basically a keyword. So we did talk about keywords in the previous lecture. So you need to note this down that delete is a keyword in Python. And then lastly, we have clear, which basically clears all the items in the set and prints an empty set. Similar concept from mathematics. So that is it for the slides. Now let us move to the code window to perform the different examples there. All right, so here we have the code window screen. I hope it's visible to all of you. All right, so first of all, we talked about lists. So we're going to, we're going to first of all add a comment about the list. You might have remembered what is the purpose of this comment. Can anybody among you tell me? Why do we use a comment in Python? Why do we use a comment in Python? Okay, so basically comments are used to, make the code readable, and it basically helps to, understand the code. And I can zoom in a bit more. Okay, so let's perform the different tasks on a list. So first of all, we need a list. Let's say I'm going to create a list of fruits. All right. So we talked about that we're going to use the square brackets, and then for the strings, in the previous lecture, we are going to use these double quotes. So let's say I'm going to add up apple first, then I'm going to introduce a comma, and again I'm going to add these quotation marks so that my list, the word in the inverted commas will only be printed if the inverted commas are used. So I'm going to add the other, that is, let's say banana, and then I'm going to add another orange. Now this is a list of fruits, okay, and you can make a list of numbers, maybe 1 2 3 4. You can even create a list of mixed items, like you can add numbers at the same time, you can add different words and so on. So let us first access different elements in a list. So how are we going to access elements in a list? Previously, in the previous lecture, we did study about the indexing method. So to access an element in a list, we are going to basically use indexing. We're going to print, and then we are going to write the name of the list. Okay, if I do, okay, here, and then I am going to again introduce the square brackets, and I'm going to mention the index of, let's say, whatever element I want to pick out. So in Python, indexing starts from 0. Okay, so the first element right here, apple, is at an index 0. This is at an index 1, and this is at an index 2. So let's say I want to access banana. I'm going to write 1 here. Okay, and then let's see what it's going to print. See, it prints banana right here. So this is how you're going to access the elements of a list. So the first operation has been performed. Now let's go to the slicing of a list. Let's say I want a part of the list, fruits. I only want apple and banana to be printed. So what I am going to do is I'm going to again write print, and then again fruits. I'm going to introduce square brackets, and here let's say I'm going to write 0 colon 1. Now 0 tells me the very first item that I want to be in the indexed part, and 1 represents the very last item. So let's see what it prints here. So it prints apple here. Okay, now what the mistake we did here was that we mentioned 1. Now 0 and 1. So if I write it like 2, then it will print the 2 items, banana and apple. Now why is this? Because the last, the 2 that I mentioned, this indexing basically works as n minus 1. So if I mention 2 here, it will be printing till 1. So this is how the indexing, do keep notes of these small things, that if you mention 2 here, which is basically the orange, item of the list, it's not going to print that. It's going to print till the previous one, because the indexing takes part as n minus 1. So till now we have done the accessing part. We can access any element of the list, and then secondly we have done the slicing. So we can slice a list. Thirdly, we're going to modify the list. So how are we going to modify the list? You can either add, subtract, or perform different things with the list. So let's say I'm going to write fruits, and then I'm going to sorry, I want, at the first place, the one place, that is the banana place, I want to add kiwi, another fruit in it. Okay, and then I'm going to print fruits. Now what this will do is it is going to add the replace the banana with the kiwi. So let's see what it's going to do with our list. So here you see apple, kiwi, and orange. Our original list was apple, banana, and orange, but banana has been replaced with kiwi. And how have we done it? we have again used this indexing method where we replaced, banana with kiwi by using the index of banana, which was 1 from here. Okay, then similarly, we can, perform different addition or subtracting functions with the list in order to, modify it. So these were the 3 about the list. Now moving to the tuples. So moving to the tuples, what we are going to do is we're going to first create a tuple. Let's say I'm going to write my tuple, just giving it a name. And then we are going to use the parenthesis. So what I'm going to do is I am going to, let's say, write 1, and then I'm going to write 2, and then the third one is I can, write this, and then I can even write, a float number 2, because a list can have multiple items, tuple, sorry. Okay, so again, to access the element of a tuple, what I'm going to do is I am going to similarly use the indexing thing, and this will print the, sorry, I didn't use the print command. Before that, you are supposed to, write this print, and then you are going to index it. Only then will it be, showing you the result. So here it is, 1. So the very I basically opted for the very first item, which is 1, and let's say I want this 3. So what I'm going to do is I am going to copy the same, and then I'm just going to change the place, like I'm going to add 2 here. So now it will be printing the 3 in my tuple, and here it is, this 3. Okay, so that is this. Next, again, slicing of the tuple is again same. We can even see it. We're going to use this square brackets like this, and then I'm going to, let's say, from 0 to 2, let's say. Okay, this time we use it 4 because we have multiple, more than 3 items in my in our tuple. So it's going to print all the 4 of them. All right, so this is how you do the indexing, then accessing the elements, and then you can play around with these things. Okay, so moving on to dictionaries. Okay, let's see dictionaries. Okay, so what we can do is we can introduce a simple dictionary. Let's say I call it as this dictionary, and now in dictionaries what we use is curly brackets. So you see the difference that in a list you use square brackets, in a tuple you use round brackets, and then a dictionary you use curly brackets. So these are the minor syntax types or their specifications which are you need to remember. So let's say, because it's a key value pair, let's say I have the name, and then I add the name right here. Let's say Ali. This is my first, key value pair. Now, this is the key basically, and this is the value. So the key is the name, and the value is the name of that particular person. All right. Let's say the very next one I have is the age. Okay. So now age, let's say is 15. So the key value pair here is again, the key is the age, and then the value is the particular age he is. And then let's say the last one is like I want to know the class, and the class is 8th class. All right. So this is how you create the key value pairs. These key value pairs may be anything you wish for. Okay. And then we can see how to print this dictionary, and let's see now for the output. So here it is. It has printed the name of the person, the age of the person, and the class of the person. So this is how you basically perform different tasks. So that is it for today's lecture. Feel free to ask any questions, please. If you have any question, you can ask, please. Okay, so we have a question about the lowercase and the uppercase. So basically, you can, use the different. There are the dot functions from which you can, use the lower or the uppercase. So in the code ahead, we'll see how to, use the lower case and the uppercase. For these particular examples, there was, not much about the case things. We did talk about them in the previous lecture, that the variables are case sensitive. So uppercase and lowercase, you need to take care of those. But to, convert from a lowercase to uppercase, basically use a dot function. And for whatever variable you want to, or for whatever things you want to do, you use a lowercase and the uppercase. We'll be discussing those things in the, further classes. All right, so that's it for today's lecture. We'll be meeting in the next week. Thank you so much for joining. Allah Hafiz.